Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Afflicted Love by Autumn Sand. And this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Prologue. Kyle, age 10. I watched the other kids play in the makeshift playground in the trailer park from my usual hiding place behind a large oak tree. My existence goes unnoticed, the unknown shadow in this filthy place everyone knows about but refuses to acknowledge. I rub my hand over my bloated stomach as it begins to grumble. I usually wait until dark before I dig through my neighbor's trash cans for that night's dinner, so I'm hoping to stave off the hunger pains a little while longer. My attention shifts to the boy who is smaller than the other kids, the one being picked on and pushed around. The other kids laugh at him and call his dad a drunkard. I want to laugh at all of them. My dad is a meth addict, and my mom, well, I never knew her. I'd rather have a drunkard than a meth addict for a parent. My dad barely acknowledges my existence unless he needs me, and all our money goes to him getting his next fix or selling me to someone to get the money for his drugs. The way I figure, these kids all have it easy. Well, except for maybe the little kid who's being picked on. Typically, I mind my own business. I have my own problems to worry about, like figuring out my next meal or where to hide when my dad is low on cash and needs me to do him a favor this one time. But something about his tears that calls to me. Tears I've never shed myself fall down his own cheeks. What does it feel like to cry? Does it relieve you from pain and misery? Before I know it, as if by magnetic pull, my legs gravitate towards them. Jaws drop and the playground grows quiet as 10 pairs of eyes are suddenly staring at me. I look down at my dirty shorts and torn shirt, really no different from theirs. With a shrug, I stand in front of the one with the tears, firmly placing myself between him and the boy who pushed him to that point. I look down at him lying on the ground, tears mixing with the dirt on his face. In that moment, I want to do something no one has ever done for me. I want to hold him and make it better. I want to tell him I'll protect him. His brown eyes lock onto my green ones, and if I look hard enough, I think I can see a rainbow. Could he be my pot of gold at the end of it? Squatting down in front of him, I wipe the tears from his face and offer my hand to help him stand. Hey, what the fuck are you doing? The chubby kid asks. I ignore him and help my nameless friend up. He immediately clings to me, burying his face in my bag. Thank you, he says in between sobs. The warmth of his body touches me. It's the first time in as long as I can remember where human contact wasn't a fist or a tag. He needs me just as much as I need him, I decide in this very moment. I said, what the fuck are you doing? The chubby kid repeats. I take the hand of my new friend and turn him to face me. You all right? The words feel foreign on my lips. It's the first time I've ever uttered that phrase, having never given a damn about anyone but myself before. Hey, aren't you Elijah? I turn around to see who knows my name. It's a girl who looks about my age in jeans cut off at the knees to make them into shorts, and a pink top with traces of her chocolate ice cream on it. You and your dad live in the trailer in the back lot, right? She points in the direction of where I live. How does she know my name? I'm usually called Meth Kid or something equally unpleasant, like Trash or White Trash, but never my real name. I give her a brief nod before taking the boy's hand and walking away from the crowd. We ain't done with him. Bring him back, Fuckface says. You're done with him from now on. Now, don't let me catch you touching him again. I use the same icy tone my father has used on me for as long as I can remember when I dared to disobey him. The tone that makes them all back away and run. The tone that says, I'm not to be fucked with. My friend turns to see all his tormentors' backs as they make tracks in the opposite direction. He looks up at me with wide eyes, amazed. What? I chuckle at the shock in his voice. Don't worry, they won't fuck with you again. I affirm with absolute certainty. His eyes light up at the declaration and he squeezes my hand. Lyle? Lyle! A voice yells in the distance. But that's my mom calling for me. He lets go of my hand, and I don't know what to do in this type of situation. Never had a friend before. Should I follow him to make sure he gets home all right? I stand there in confusion, but then he says, "Why don't you come with me? It's just dinner time." He laughs and beckons for me to follow. Dinner? In a house? With a family? I want to jump up and down with joy, but I manage to calm myself and nod instead. I follow him to a beat up old trailer. It's perhaps a little better than the one I live in. At least this one has a door that isn't propped up with a cinder block. "Well, who's your friend?" the woman with short brown hair asks. Her smile is wide and friendly, but her eyes are sad and vacant. I know that look. I've seen it often enough. She's been beaten down by the world, too. "This is a light. Call me Kyle," I interrupt, not wanting the dirt from my birth name to taint my new friendship. I decide at this moment I'm giving myself a new start and burying Elijah in the past. Lyle smiles brightly with two missing teeth in the front. "Kyle and Lyle," he says. "We're brothers." That's how we became brothers. We weren't bound together by blood, but by something much deeper than that. Need. The need to be loved, the need to be protected, the need to be wanted. No one else understood it, and at times neither did we, but we knew we needed each other like we needed air. After realizing my situation, his mother took me in. Though their circumstances weren't much better than my own, I chose to be there so I could help protect Lyle. I was his brother by choice, which makes our bond stronger. Typical of my dad, he didn't really notice I was missing. I never heard of him asking around about me. At first, Lyle's father protested the idea of another mouth to feed, but eventually gave in when Mom became weaker and weaker and couldn't handle cooking and housework anymore. He picked up the slack in those areas, all the while hoping for Lyle to have somewhat of a better life than I'm doomed to have. He is my one and only obsession, to protect and make him happy. All I asked was to be by his side always. That's all I ever wanted in return. When Mom died, Ed, Lyle's dad, was too drunk to notice or care. It affected Lyle the most because he came from her body and she loved him the most outside of herself. So I stepped in and became a mother for him too. I made sure he ate his meals, went to school, did his homework, and when he was upset, he cried on my shoulder. I was his source of comfort as well as his source of joy. I don't know when our feelings for each other began to change. I can't put my finger on it, but it seemed like it happened overnight, though I know it was a gradual change. Every now and then, I would catch him staring at me in the most peculiar way. I've been with others before and was accustomed to the look. At first, I tried to fight it. I needed a brother, not a lover. I make his world more fucked up than it already is. Didn't I swear to myself as his protector? Instead, I start to sneak out at night as my way of fighting those urges inside of me. That's how our cycle began of him in denial and me taking the blame. I am the guilty one after all. I was never an innocent person, but being around him made me feel I could be.